So here's part one on PA boot over. What we're going to do for almost all of these plays is run the bunch to the wide side. So you'll note the bunch is to the wide side. We have our route specialist player that's a slot apprentice on the inside bunch position. We're going to put him on a corner, put our outside bunch on a zig, streak our tight end, and block our running back. And this is going to beat essentially every coverage. You're going to be able to beat man, cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4 with this setup. You notice we're just going to throw this corner out. We can throw the corner out over every single coverage. And that is why I'm so dependent on corner routes this year, because it beats every coverage. So every single play, I try to make my opponents prepare for a corner route. Notice here against cover 3, we're going to throw the crosser wide open. It's going to be naked. Almost a touchdown right there with Treadwell. I try to put a corner out on almost every play. You'll notice that throughout the setups, but they get open against about everything. I want you to have to fear corner routes every single play. So here's cover 3 with some clouds. I'll just show here. Again, gets over. Boom. We got the B receiver wide open on the sideline. Actually get a terrible animation. Weren't able to come down at the inbounds. That's typically going to be a completion right there. But what I'd recommend is go into practice mode and practice throwing these corners to different pass lead depending on what type of coverage you're facing. So here we go. I'm going to face this cover 3 with clouds again. Going to throw the crosser right here, show it gets wide open. Now, the crosser is going to be a similar pass lead almost every time. It's going to be pretty similar, pretty much just straight to the right, or following the path of the receiver, like a 2 o'clock. The corner is going to be different depending on what type of coverage you face. So here we're going to go against a cover 2, I believe. Actually, no, cover 3 hard flat, and I'm just showing again that I believe the corner out gets under the third. Notice I'm just pass leading that pretty much straight down. That's the safest pass lead. Now, once we face cover 2 right here, this is where things get a little bit trickier for the corner, and you have to be a little bit more patient, but a good pass lead, and you almost have a touchdown. So basically what we're doing is waiting for the corner to bite down just a little bit. It's actually going to be naked. Certain Tampa 2s, it will play that Tampa 2 cloud will play a little bit deeper, and you'll have to pass lead more straight up. We have Thielen activated right now. It doesn't matter. It's just double me is what's activated. We're not planning on throwing into coverage. But again, it's the exact same setup for all of these for this PA boot over setup number 1. It's a really good play. It might be my favorite play in the formation. Now the crosser is going to get wide open. So we're basically pinning the user, making them, they got to take one or the other, at least predict that that's coming and man up one and go, user the corner route. And then we're going to run it against cover 4 drop. A lot of you guys have issues beating cover 4 drop. Same thing with this. The crosser and the corner are both going to beat this coverage. Not to mention, against man coverage, the zig's really going to beat it. And the corner has a really good shot at beating it too because of how good these corner routes are against man coverage. Now, if you're predicting man, I wouldn't recommend a setup like this. You'd want, pretty much all man beating routes on the field. You would want, the cover 0 section of the ebook. However, this is a perfect example of a play that beats man and zone and really every single coverage. And even if they put out man coverage on the field, you have options here. So same thing, cover 4. Going to throw the crosser here. You can see the crosser's wide open. And this one's actually almost going to go to the crib too. So that is PA boot over the first setup. Essentially, you can run it either side. You just want that bunch on the wide side. You want your route specialist guy on the inside bunch receiver. Now, I sometimes run 1. I sometimes run 2 bunch specialists. And right here, if you think they're in cover 3, this is a setup. It's essentially the same thing. Just notice, if I think they're in cover 3 or cover 4 and I want a little bit extra space to throw this corner, you can streak that outside bunch and move him out. What we're doing is we're clearing out that deep blue. And that setup's going to work against every coverage too. It's just you're not going to have a zig that's a man beater, and then the crosser is going to be a little bit harder to throw because you don't have a clear out. But look at this. I mean, it's basically the same throw. That's actually inbounds. That is a completion animation this year. Just a little bit different of a setup there that I wanted to give you guys for this. But essentially what we're going to do each time is the corner, the zig, streaking the tight end, and then blocking the running back. Again, it's going to beat pretty much every single coverage.